everyone. Welcome to This is USG, a video podcast by the universities at Shady Grove. 9 universities, 1 campus, great results. I'm Ann Khademian, Executive Director of the universities at Shady Grove. USG is a place for academic innovation. Our university partners have the opportunity to develop new degrees that combine theory and application to launch students into exciting career opportunities across the county, across the region. The University of Maryland's prestigious Clark School of Engineering has developed 2 new cutting-edge engineering degree programs that will both be offered in the new state-of-the-art Biomedical Sciences and Engineering building on the USG campus. Tonight, we will hear from faculty and program staff with the new Embedded Systems in the Internet of Things program and the Biocomputational Engineering program. We will discuss what students learn, what careers students can pursue with these innovative degrees, and much more. Tonight's guests include Dr. Mel Gomez, Professor of Electrical and Computer Engineering at the University of Maryland, Program Director for the Embedded Systems and Internet of Things at USG. Welcome, Mel.
Hello.
Hi. Glenn Kasten-Sportes is Program Coordinator for Embedded Systems and the Internet of Things program at USG. Welcome.
Hi, welcome.
Dr. Lan Ma is a lecturer with the Department of Bioengineering and Assistant Program Director for the Biocomputational Engineering program at USG. Welcome, Lan.
Hi.
And Emily Bailey is Program Coordinator for the Biocomputational Engineering program at USG. Well, welcome, everybody. It's great to have you here tonight. I wonder if we could just do a little bit of a round robin so everyone can get to know you a little bit better. Mel, why don't you start?
Okay, thank you. So I'm a professor of electrical and computer engineering for over 20 years at College Park. I served as the associate chair for undergraduate education for 8 years. And I'm quite delighted that during these years that the ranking of the department has gone up. I'm very proud of that. And my research is actually in the area of hardware and physical principles behind nanotechnology, and some applications include, high performance storage for computers and also sensors for detecting specific DNA genes for cancers and other genetic profiles. So we are excited to offer this program at USG. This is part of the ECE department. So we now have 3 programs: electrical engineering, computer engineering, and this embedded systems in the Internet of Things.
Fantastic. Thank you, Mel. Glenn, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi, so my name is Glenn Kasten-Sportes. I'm the program coordinator for the Embedded Systems and Internet of Things program. A little bit about me: I worked in higher ed for 7 years. Can't believe that's already been 7 years. I can remember my first job very clearly. And I've been with the Embedded Systems program for a little over 3 months now. And fun news, I got my master's actually at a USG program. I got my master's of education at USG through the University of Maryland College Park College of Education. So I have a special connection to USG as I was a former grad student there.
Terrific. Love to hear from alumni as well. That's great. Lan, why don't you introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi everyone. So I'm the Assistant Director of the Biocomputational Engineering program at the Fischel Department of Bioengineering of UMD. So I am a systems engineer by training. I received my PhD in ECE, Electrical and Computer Engineering from Johns Hopkins University. So I have been with the Fischel Department of Bioengineering for 5.5 years. I teach quantitative bioengineering courses like biocomputational methods, linear systems, and differential equations in bioengineering. Before joining UMD, my research background was in systems and computational biology. And we are very excited to launch this brand new program of biocomputational engineering in this fall 2021.
Excellent. Thank you, Lan. And Emily.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for having us here. So my name is Emily Bailey. I'm the program coordinator. Been with the degree program for about a year, working with students, trying to recruit and talk about this new wonderful degree program that's going to launch this fall at Shady Grove. Prior to this position, I was actually at a different position at Shady Grove. I was with the ACES Career Readiness. I was the ACES Career Readiness Coordinator. So I work with students along the pipeline from the MCPS to Montgomery College through USG. And prior to that, I was a school counselor. So always kind of been involved in education, but working up through into higher ed. So I'm happy to be here tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. What a great group of guests we have here tonight. So talented and so dedicated to what you're doing. It's terrific. Both of these degree programs, both the embedded systems and Internet of Things and the biocomputational engineering program, they're very innovative. They combine a lot of different knowledge and disciplinary points of focus, but they're also exclusive to USG as well, which is really exciting. I think they both need some explanation. They sound very intriguing, but I wonder if you could share with our audience a little bit more about what these degrees consist of. What is it that students are studying? Mel, maybe we can start with you in embedded systems.
Sure. Thank you very much, Anne. So let me begin with defining what embedded systems are. So in general, embedded systems are really tiny little computers that are incorporated within electronic devices that allow them to have extraordinary functionality, such as the ability to sense the environment, for example. In fact, make decisions and act on those decisions all autonomously. These embedded systems, and we're probably familiar with many of them, smartphones, cars, and just about many modern devices now have embedded system incorporated within them. Now, so these devices basically make other devices smart. Now, the Internet of Things is the term we use when these smart devices talk to each other and, of course, use each other's functionalities. It's kind of like maybe a community of tiny computers that communicate not only amongst devices around its vicinity, but across the globe. Now, despite the widespread use of embedded devices nowadays, the technology actually, you'd be surprised, it's still in its infancy. In the years to come, we anticipate even more powerful embedded computers, much lower energy consumption. Communication systems will be much faster than they are now. You can already see the beginnings of this so-called 5G network. And we will have the ability to do spectacular things like collect data in a very, very massive scale, and which can then be processed using algorithms such as machine learning. Now, of course, with any technology, there's the downside. We anticipate more cybersecurity attacks and, of course, myriad ways to counteract them. And along with these technical advances, we will develop in the very near future extraordinary algorithms that learn from the data and to be able to extract meaningful predictions that would otherwise be beyond human capability. So what is this degree in a sense? So you can think of this embedded system IoT degree as a very, very focused one, which combines the elements of computer engineering, computer science, and information technology, and all rolled into one. So this is a very focused degree that basically trains students to be able to perform in the technology space as the technology continues to advance. So I hope that encapsulates a little bit of what the degree program is.
What a great explanation of that program. And I've seen in some of the promotional materials for this degree that students get exposed to both hands-on learning. They're actually building some of these systems, as well as deep theoretical knowledge in engineering. Talk about why both of those are important.
I probably have to, show my age here. I have been a teacher for 20 plus, for 2 decades. And the only way I think that students have ownership, what I call ownership of knowledge, and that's the knowledge that they really retain to be able to use, is when they actually do hands-on things. It's kind of like, in my little analogy, it's like learning a word. You know the word when you hear it, but you can't use it. Well, that means you did not own the word. So in the same sense, all of these engineering principles We believe, and this is actually quite true, that the only way that students will have ownership of deep theoretical thinking and insights is actually to be able to do hands-on work. So we get our students, in this first cohort, they're actually intensively exposed to hands-on education, and this is the philosophy that we have in this program. Hands-on creates deep insights, and that's just the beginning and the end of education as far as we are concerned.
That's terrific. Thank you so much. Lan, I wonder if you could tell us a bit about the Biocomputational Engineering program. What are students studying in this program?
Yeah, sure. So biocomputational engineering, just judges by its name, is a multidisciplinary field, and it is at the interface of bioengineering, life sciences, and data science. So it actually is a branch of the broad bioengineering field. So the goal of the biocomputational engineering is still to solve biological healthcare problems, but the approach is computationally and mathematically based. So in biocomputational engineering, we don't perform experiments of any kind, but rather we take data from experimentalists and we try to rationalize biological data, clinical data. And we want to also make new discoveries. So what skills are needed to rationalize biological data? So first of all, you need to actually have some fundamental knowledge about, like, say, how cellular molecular processes work, because actually a substantial amount of data that we deal with are of molecular cellular nature. If we desire to propose like new drug candidate or new vaccine candidate, like such as vaccine COVID-19 vaccine candidate. After that, you actually must mathematically formulate the bio process. So you need to have quantitative bioengineering knowledge to convert the bio event into a mathematical framework that we call a model. So we can use, say, differential equations or statistical analysis, for example, to build a mathematical model. After that, then we can run simulations and analysis of the model by implementing the math model on a computer. So specifically, we do computer programming, use programming language of your choice, such as MATLAB, Python, C++, or R. And finally, the computer simulations and analysis have to be interpreted, and then the interpretation will lead to conclusion on what the biological data means. Then based on these new understanding of the biological data, we can propose new diagnostic or therapeutic solutions. So in summary, a biocomputational engineer needs to be equipped with multidisciplinary skills in quantitative bioengineering, computer science, life sciences, and data science, and data science in particular, the advanced data analysis methods such as machine learning and other artificial intelligence methods. So all these multidisciplinary skills, we wish that our curricula can address and train our graduates to be able to have immediate impact on human health.
What an amazing pathway. So students are learning to gather and rationalize a lot of data, to build models, to turn those models into computer simulations, and then to take those simulations and draw insights. That is amazing. What a pathway. What kind of jobs will students get coming out of this program?
Yeah, that's a good question. So there actually is a spectrum of career paths that our graduates can explore. So as you may know that the DC, Maryland, and Virginia or we call it DMV area, is actually a hub for hundreds of biotech, biomedical, and pharmaceutical companies, and as well as the headquarters for federal government agencies like National Institutes of Health, FDA, and the National Institute of Standards and Technology. So these companies and agencies actually have a growing demand for biocomputational jobs. And the jobs include bioinformatics analyst, biostatistician, genomics computational scientist, clinical data analyst, health data analyst, data technology consultant in life science, etc. So moreover, similar requirements are offered by academic and hospital units such as Johns Hopkins Biostatistics Center, Johns Hopkins Center for Drug Safety and Effectiveness, and the University of Maryland School of Medicine, Children's National, St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, etc. So finally, the companies that I just mentioned with data scientist demand include GlaxoSmithKline, AstraZeneca, Johnson & Johnson, just to name a few.
Yeah, terrific. That's amazing. So much is changing with our economy, with discovery, with technology, with medicines, with vaccines. I can see how this multidisciplinary approach in both embedded systems in the Internet of Things and in biocomputational engineering really prepares students to be big problem solvers in those spaces. So exciting. Well, I wonder, Glenn and Emily, could you tell us a little bit about what students need to, how students need to prepare to come into these? All students coming to USG are transfer students. All students coming to USG have 2 years of higher education under their belt, and they're coming in as juniors and seniors. So what are some of the things that they need to be taking? What are some of the things that they have to prepare for so that they can be successful in these new programs? Glenn, why don't we start with you?
Sure. So first and foremost, our students have to meet the Clark School of Engineering requirements, and Emily would have the same thing of, we are first and foremost a Clark School program. So our students need to have a basic 3.0 GPA, kind of non-negotiable there, as well as Calculus 2, and then General Physics 1, and then a general chemistry for engineers. So those are the basic things that all students need to meet if they're applying for a program in the Clark School. And then embedded systems, we have an additional set of prerequisite coursework on top of that. So they need to take 5 additional courses. So they have an Introduction to Engineering Design course. Of course, they need Calculus 1 if they're taking Calculus 2. They need the second set of general physics. So it's Physics 262 here at Maryland. And the first one is Physics 161. They also need to take an introductory programming course. This can vary in what programming language it could be. We generally recommend C, C++, Java, or Python. But we do individual reviews on a case-by-case basis for students who may not have taken a course in that exact topic, but something similar. And they also need to take an additional math course, and they just need one. Students kind of panic when I show them 3 different ones, and they're like, I need all 3. I'm like, no, you only need one. So they need either differential equations, Calculus 3, or linear algebra. So quite a set of coursework, but these are really designed to give them the best foundational knowledge that they need to come in their junior year and start what is a very rigorous engineering program.
Yeah. So Glenn, this is you had 1 year, I think, under your belt with this program. And are you finding that students are looking for this kind of program, or is it something that they discover and they have to be kind of convinced of going forward with it? Is it something that students are just naturally drawn to, or is there an element of really trying to market and educate students about the possibilities of this degree?
So it's a bit of both. I think a lot of students, they didn't know how interested they were going to be in this. And some of the comments I've gotten was, I didn't even know that this was the degree program. I'm like, well, as of fall 2020 it is, but before then it wasn't quite. And we actually are in our current cohort, we have 6 students right now. They actually came from they were focused on different parts of engineering. So we have one student who's a mechanical engineer, but he was so fascinated by the tech and what this program teaches our students that he switched over to the more electrical computer engineering program nature that we have. And ours is also a mix of computer science. So, and some of them, with a name as unique as embedded systems and Internet of Things, it does require some explanation of what does that even mean? What is that? So I think that's a bigger challenge, at least for me, as I'm not an engineer. I don't have an engineering background, so I can't explain it to someone unless I understand it myself. So Dr. Gomez has been incredibly patient, and Google has been my best friend in trying to explain what this is. And then students are like, wow, this is actually really what I wanted to do. I didn't know something like this existed. So it's a bit of both, but I think, then the next conversation comes of, all right, you have the passion for it. You're really interested in it, but do you then have the coursework that you need to be successful, right? Because at the end of the day, we want to set students up for success. I don't want a student to come into this program that doesn't have the knowledge that they need, because then they're not going to be successful. And that's not what we want. We want them to thrive in this program. So, but it's interesting to them. They didn't know it existed, but they're like, can you please explain what exactly this is? And I'm like, I can to a point. And then that's where I bring in Dr. Gomez, who really established this program to really give more details about it.
Awesome. That's great. Emily, what about you? As you're recruiting students, what kind of requirements do students need to come into the biocomputational engineering program? And are they looking for this as well, or is this something that, just like with the other degree program, they need some education and things to understand what's possible?
Well, thank you. So I'd say just as a whole, talking about a new degree program that doesn't exist, not only at the College Park campus, but also at Shady Grove, it does take a little bit of explaining, especially because this is a brand new state-of-the-art degree program. It's one of the first of its kind. So there's a lot of explaining to do up front. But just to break it down, I often tell students it's important to have advising early and often, because there is quite a pathway, quite a transfer pathway that students have to be aware of as they're preparing to transfer into this program. So I've met with students as early as high school, talking about what high school classes they take and, kind of describing this program. And, sometimes some things that you say in just the basic descriptions of what biocomputational engineering is, it kind of gives a spark in these students. And then they have a nice pathway that we're working to develop together. But I like to say, students that have, strong interest and a strong desire in taking the upper level math courses, the more advanced math courses. If you enjoy the biological and the life sciences, you enjoy working on computers, you have an interest or a background in computer programming, as the languages that have been mentioned here, C++, Python, anything that sounds of interest, so you've kind of tried these out a little bit, and you want to use all of these skills together to make a difference in the healthcare industry, then this would be a program that you should consider. So we have, of course, the Clark School of Engineering requirements. Those are non-negotiable. Any Clark School of Engineering degree, that's what you have to meet. But then in addition to that, we've worked really hard with Montgomery, not only Montgomery College, but the other local community colleges to map out a seamless transfer pathway. So there's lots of math. Students have to take Calc 1, 2, 3, differential equations. There's some chemistry, biology, computer science. So it's really helpful just to, as I said, meet with students early and often. I'm happy to meet with students once a semester, more often, just so I can, look at what their schedule is, make sure they understand. A lot of these classes are sequential. You can't take Calc 3 before you take Calc 1. So there has to be some semester planning. And that's what my full 100% job is right now, and is building the pipeline, not only for those students that are ready to transition from Montgomery College or the local community colleges to Shady Grove in the fall, but also those just starting in their time at community college. I've met with some current University of Maryland College Park students, that are in computer science and just are discovering this. And now they want to use those computer science skills in the healthcare industry. So it's kind of a fun mix of, where students' backgrounds are. And once they discover this program, it's kind of like a spark goes off. Like, that's exactly what I wanted to do. That's a degree. So it's wonderful.
That's really exciting.
Mhm.
You talked about meeting with high school students,
Mhm.
and I think this is so key to the
Yeah, I
future of
agree.
higher education more generally, you know, to open
Mhm.
up possibilities. And I love your mention of the spark, right? That this,
Yep.
you know, students seeing like, oh, wow, I can do that. Like I can be part of that. Talk a little about how you approach high school recruitment or high school information. What's important for students to know in high school as they're thinking about their college future, especially with respect to this program?
Sure. I think it's really important for anybody to be a very informed consumer. So we've worked hard to develop a lot of materials, videos, just ebooks, so career ebooks that students can look at and read more about this career field. We worked really hard in this past year, not only to talk to high school students, but also working with faculty and staff, because they're the ones that are meeting with these high school students, the college students every day, and also industry partners, because our goal in the program is to make sure we create students that are workforce ready, creating lots of experiences. We want to build those connections with local industry. The high school programs have great summer opportunities to explore. I'd love to bring the high school students in here to see the building, to see what it looks like. Not only just to talk about it, but to be present in the building is a whole different situation. So really just saying things to spark that interest for sure, starting young. Mm-hmm.
No, that's great. And hopefully, you know, speaking of COVID, right, trying to get students into the building will be
Yes, exactly.
hopefully something down the road. Uh,
Mhm.
Mel, you want to ask you two questions. One is, you know, I've seen in the video, the promotional video for embedded systems, students creating these really interesting devices, you know, the handheld devices. What are they creating? What are they building? Are these standard systems? Are they recreating the inside of a cell phone? You know, what are they building?
I think they're not quite there yet. Cell phones are extremely complex, but they're actually basically, you can think of it, Anne, as exercising their own creativity. So in understanding, okay, how do you then bring your creative thoughts or ideas into fruition? And so the student, and we let them actually play with the gadgets. Now, one of the difficulties, of course, is that we had the pandemic, but that's perfectly fine because it did not have a very serious impact on the way that we develop, on the way that we educate the students, for a very important reason. Earlier on, when we were planning this, we were not even thinking, of course, pandemic, but we planned it in such a way that there's going to be a lot of instrumentation that would actually be in the hands of the students to bring them home. Actually, this is very, they're very expensive equipment, and we trust them. Look, these are the equipment that you will be using, and we trained them. And as a result, they actually played around with these instruments at home. In fact, some of the students have converted their dorm rooms or their basements into like some labs that they actually work with. And you see what happens is that you have it at home, so and they're interested, and so it doesn't feel like work. So they just develop the natural tendency to work with these widgets, and that's exactly what we are so happy about, that we are bring about the creativity that the students have. So you mentioned what are the stuff that they do. Well, there's one that was interested in, actually this is a classic problem, which is how would you develop the logic system on a very simple device that's familiar to all of us, a vending machine. Well, if you think about it, it seems very straightforward, but you think about it for a minute. You're going to put money. How will it know how much change to give it to you, to give to you? How will you then tell him that, okay, you need more money, or you, here's your change? And then how would you select the products and where it's going to be presented to you? So there's a lot of these complexities that enter every time you begin to chart out or map out, a device, and it has to work 100% of the time. And then there's a couple of people who are just very interested in flying little drones and making them, do all sorts of crazy maneuvers. And so what they did was to actually program, like I told you, the embedded system or the smart brain in those little drones, and that allowed them to work. And then I can go on and on. we have only 6 students right now, but I think we've got 6 different or probably even more different projects. And that, I think, Anne, is brought about by the fact that what we wanted to offer the students is really a lot of hands-on experience that that reinforces the technical content that we offer them, and at the same time actually encourages creativity.
Mel,
So
I'm ready to sign up. I'm ready to sign up. I can just feel the excitement, that I can feel all of your understanding of good pedagogy and how all that plays out into this new degree is super exciting. Um,
yeah,
Lon, I'm wondering if you can tell us a little bit about, I'm sure this is starting a new program is a bit overwhelming, a lot of work.
yeah.
What's it like? What's it like trying to start a program from scratch and planning to, as a new professor, what's it like bringing this program to USG, and what kind of planning and things do you have to pay attention to make this successful?
Um, I think the most important thing is to tell the existing society that this meaning of biocomputational engineering in the first place, because this is the new program that has not existed before, and most of people only know what the traditional bioengineering bioengineering discipline is about, but most people are wondering what really a computational biologists do, and what the skills they need in order to perform their regular work. So I think the most important thing that we need to convey during our info session, for example, to prospective students, is to explain to them a little bit about what this biocomputational engineering is about. And then we want to tell them that what our program, which is a heavily multidisciplinary program that will teach them, that will train them to equip them with really highly interdisciplinary courses. So this is very different from the standard bioengineering field. And I need to, for example, explain to students what really quantitative bioengineering courses mean, and what courses belong to quantitative bioengineering. So we use just basically mostly computational approach, computer science approach, mathematical approach, but still we solve bioengineering healthcare problem. So that's the so-called quantitative bioengineering. But this actually is not, at the first glance, is not that intuitive. So we want to actually explain to our prospective student and audience about this brand new program, and what the new program is going to train our students for their future career.
That's great. It is amazing to think about. You're not only creating a program, the curriculum, recruiting the students, training the students, but because it is such a new space and a kind of innovative degree, you have to think about the whole market, where they will go, what kind of careers they will have. I'm sure they'll have lots and lots of opportunities, but it is a new kind of entrance into the job market. So that's very exciting. Well, I'm going to ask you all to take in 1 minute to give me, what is your elevator pitch for your program? So if you're on an elevator, you've got 30 seconds, a minute to get up to the top of the building. What would be the one thing that you'd want to share about the program? And Glenn, why don't we start with you?
Oh boy, put me on the spot there.
You have to, on the spot, be creative, right?
Yeah, I think what I would honestly just say is, like, are you looking for a program that is going to challenge you, that's rigorous, it's demanding, but you're going to have fun? Like, you're going to learn new technology, or how to use everyday things, how to create everyday things, from smartwatches to smartphones to smart appliances to cars, buildings, anything that you name it, anything around us has ESIoT applications, right? So if you're ready to be part of this booming tech field, this emerging technology that is really changing the world and will continue to change the world. You know, and then, you know, if you want to be part of that, then embedded systems and Internet of Things is the engineering program for you.
Okay, Glenn, you just set the bar really high for that elevator pitch. That's very good. So
That was my goal.
Emily, what about you? What would be your elevator pitch?
Sure. Well, I think it's important to point out that this program, it was created because there is this growing need. It's a very in-demand field in this, the DMV region. There are so many biotech, biopharma industries that are looking for skilled graduates that excel in biological sciences, computer programming. They want to use all of these skills, the bioengineering, computer science skills together to solve and to tackle today's healthcare challenges. So using all these skills to really make a difference in the healthcare industry is really, that's important.
Excellent. That's terrific. Lon, what would be your closing thoughts that you'd like to share about this degree program, about biocomputational engineering?
Yeah, I think this field, again, I want to emphasize it is an interdisciplinary field. So students kind of have to be not only just good at or enthusiastic about life sciences, but also you want to also be enthusiastic using quantitative skills, computer science skills to solve challenging, complex data sets that we receive from complex biological experiments. So we want to emphasize that you need to have kind of relatively broad interest in all these disciplines, not only in biology, computer science, mathematics, physics, bioengineering. So this actually, for some students, may be a little bit high bar because I know some students may be just interested in one of these disciplines, but for us, it's a little bit special in that you do need all this broad sense of interest in all these different sub-disciplines.
Big challenge, but great reward. So yeah. And Mel, we'll let you have the last word tonight. Tell us your elevator pitch for embedded systems and
very
Internet
hard. The bar has been set very high.
of Things.
But I just want students to think that this is, you know, we are in the state of Maryland, and we're extraordinary in so many ways. So we're actually quite a rich state, and this is actually a very technology-driven state. We have many defense contractors all over the place, and we've got biotech industries. We've got all sorts of industries around this area. A lot of them is predicated upon the need to get really talented workers in this space. So we are offering this particular degree in order to meet that need. There's plenty of need, and there's, you know, there are things that, for example, only undergraduate students from the United States could fill, particularly for these defense jobs, and we have plenty of those. So my elevator pitch is the following: give us, once you're done with your associate's degree, give us 2 more years of your life, and we are going that you will have all of the tools to have a career for the next 40 years and probably beyond. That is what we can offer as far as this degree is concerned. We are going to teach you how to learn.
Love it. What a great way to end this podcast. Teach you how to learn. And how to pull from all of these different things. Well, what a pleasure this has been this evening. What great faculty, educators, program managers. I can feel the passion in all of you and what you're doing. And we're so honored to have you offering these new programs at Shady Grove, and really excited to see them grow and thrive and create great opportunities for our students and for the state of Maryland. So thank you all so much tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My pleasure.